Good evening, everyone. How are you guys? How was your week? I'm so excited to have Avital tonight with us. Avital!
Hi,
Long time
everyone.
no see. I love that we match. I just now understood that we're matching like color palettes and stuff. That's really cool. I don't know why I didn't think about it before, but that's really cool. So how are you doing? How are you feeling?
I'm all right. Getting over a bout of tonsillitis, but I'm okay.
You sound amazing. No one would have known. Wow, so that's really hard. Well, summer is starting and you have amazing projects aligning up, but I actually wanted to kind of like go to back in the day, as Ragtime says, back in the day. I understood you have your own company in Ranana. What?
Yes, I did.
Okay, so I gotta hear more about that. That's like pretty cool.
Well, I was 14 or 15. I think I was 15 years old. And I came home from school one day and I said, I'm going to put on a show. And specifically, the show I had in mind was Into the Woods Junior. I was low-key, not really low-key, obsessed with, beginning to become obsessed with one Mr. Steven Sondheim. And I said, I want to do Into the Woods Junior. And at the time, Ranana was like sort of like a little bit of a desert of community theater. There were like, drama classes in Hebrew, but there was no real musical theater. And I said, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. And I'm going to do it with, kids and teens, and we're going to put on a show. And thankfully, my mom went with this crazy idea of mine. And we contacted MTI about the rights. And they said, well, you need to have a theater company in order to do this. I'm like, okay. I have a theater company. It's called Off the Street Summer Theater, because we were going to do it during the summer and it was going to get kids off the street. Off the Street Summer Theater. It's a company. And here's the address. It's my home address. Yeah. And we did that. We did Into the Woods Junior. And the following year, it was so successful. We did You're a Good Man, Charlie Brown. And I was Charlie. It was an all girls company. I was Charlie.
I wish I knew about that. I started my way also in all girls musical, and that was like so much fun. Like I learned. I don't know. It was so much fun. So I'm so sad I missed it. Anyway, sorry. Continue.
And the third year we did Little Women. And then it's sort of just like Peter. What?
Who did you play in Little Women?
I played, well, we had like a late dropout, so we had to like shift things around. So I was the professor, but then we managed to shift things around so that I was the professor and Meg. Don't even ask how that happened.
Wait, how many girls did you have in that summer camp?
Oh my God. Depending on the year, well, with Charlie Brown, how many characters are in Charlie Brown?
There are 6.
There's 6. So we had 11. We did double cast. Mm-hmm. Into the Woods, it was like about 20. Mm-hmm. And Little Women also about like 12, 13, I would guess. I don't remember off the top of my head, but something like that. Yeah.
And did you direct it as well? Or you kind of like,
yes.
Wow. So already at the age of 14, you started directing. That's insane.
Yeah.
Did you do theater before?
Insane.
Did you do theater before? Like, how did you become like a director in such a young age? That's incredible.
I was obsessed with theater for a while. Hi, Marty. I was obsessed with theater for a while, and I had a really good friend. She was like a friend of my mom's who sort of took me under her wing, who had studied stage management and had worked in theater, and she'd like taught me everything she knew. But yeah, deciding to direct my own show was sort of like, no, I'm just going to do this. I'm going to do it. And that's what's going to be. Can I say it was the best directed thing ever? No, but it was definitely a good experience.
What as sikum, as a way to like conclude that period? What did you feel you learned from that like period in Ranana as a director, as a creator of a company, as an actress, especially in such a young age? That's like incredible.
I think the most important lesson that I got out of that time period is that like don't let people tell you no, if you have a vision, if you have an idea, just go with it, and you'll find a way to figure it out, and you'll find a way to see it through, and hopefully you'll find a bunch of people who are just as crazy as you are to push that forward.
That's amazing. That's a really important lesson. Don't cave into a no. I think that's like, it's very important. So how did you get to Jerusalem? Like, when did you get to Jerusalem? How did you be a part of the community? Speakeasies was in Tel Aviv here.
So after that company, I did some theater in Tel Aviv and in Ra'anana. And I got to know actually a whole bunch of people who I know now through Jerusalem, but I knew them then. And it's funny, actually, I was in a production with the Guild Theater, RIP, of Ra'anana, where we did A Funny Thing Happened on the Way to the Forum, and we actually came to Jerusalem, we came to CST twice and performed there, and actually, I have to say, best audiences ever were at CST. We had sort of a lukewarm reception in Ra'anana in our home theater.
Interstage theater, right? Just for whoever doesn't know.
Yeah. And yeah, I got to know sort of people within the community. And then eventually, when I moved to Jerusalem, I moved to Jerusalem in 2009, and I got roped into community theater really quickly here. I like completely unintentionally. I ended up meeting someone who was on the creative team at Center Stage, who said, "Hey, we're looking for a stage manager for a production of A Comedy of Errors. Would you be interested?" I'm like, "Sure, why not? I need to meet new people." And that's when I met Sarit, and that's where I met Natan, and that's where I met, who else was in there? Dale.
Shannon?
Shannon, no. Shannon was later, but like a whole bunch of people that are like staples of the community that I met in that first production.
Incredible.
And then I got later that year, I got involved with Fiddler on the Roof with Encore, and
that's how I met you. I don't know if you remember.
I do. I do. Yes.
Like for me, that was like when you said 2009, and then I was like, oh my god, that's how I started. That was like my first musical, and then I did Fiddler, helping backstage. And that's where I met you and Leanne, and it was like incredible. So I did not realize it was literally one of your like first debuts in Jerusalem. That's incredible.
Yes, it was. And then later that year, we started Theater in the Rough, and everything.
So were you in Theater in the Rough from the beginning?
Yes, I was.
That's incredible. Can you like share a bit of like insights and like what's happening inside the company? Unfortunately, I was only an audience member so far for Theater in the Rough, and I really love the stuff that you do. So like it'll be cool to like hear the backstage, the secrets. How did it all start? How did it all
start? A bunch of people wanted to do Shakespeare, and we wanted to do it differently than it was being done. There was already a lot of Shakespeare in Jerusalem, but it was, very on a stage in a room. And we wanted to try something different. And so the audition, I remember it was at Beth and Ira's house. It was just everybody sitting around with scripts and like, okay, you read this. Okay, you read that. And it was just very low key. And we knew most of the people. And then we're like, let's put on a show. It was, it was very low key at that point, which was, not that now it isn't, but it was like so much fun. So very, very chill. I think the really cool thing being with a theater company from the very beginning and seeing the progression is you really get to see how it evolves. Like from a production where we like grabbed some costumes and did 2 performances and threw the whole thing together in 6 weeks to these full-scale design-heavy shows with like original music and original costuming and so much thought that goes into the staging and into the reworking and into the character relationships. It's really cool to be a part of that process and like see it from the beginning through to now.
That's incredible. What did you learn from working in Theater in the Rough? What did you learn from it? Especially because you were there from the beginning. Like that's different from like jumping from one company to another.
I learned that exploring is key.
What does it mean? In what way exploring?
in a way that there's a tendency, I think, with theater, especially things that are like classics like Shakespeare or certain works of musical theater, there's a tendency to do things very much by the book and the way it's always been done. Yeah. Whereas with Theater in the Rough, that's like never what we do. We're always like looking over there, literally and figuratively. And the being open to exploring and looking at the text a different way and turning it inside out is so important. And I think that served me in other productions. And I think it gives me a very different perspective on things.
Definitely. Do you have a story you can share with us, or like an example, like something like that happened, like a memory that you carry from your time in Theater in the Rough? I don't know, anything.
I'm trying to think of something. Specific story. It'll come to, at like 10 p.m. Yeah. I'll be like, that's the story I should have told.
No, but anything, like, do you have like a favorite memory or like something funny? Because you do perform to a live audience that are like literally in front of your face. So maybe like something that happened,
okay. Yeah. Last year in Measure for Measure, I had the majority of the audience leading moments, because the way it works in Theater in the Rough, for people who don't know, we move from location to location. We do a bunch of scenes in one place, and then we move the audience with us. Instead of changing the set, we change our location. So last year I was responsible for most of those movements, where, you end a scene and I'd look at the audience and be like, come on. And I had a character that got more and more frantic as the show went on. And then I had one scene that ended with the line, come away, it is almost clear dawn. And then I run off and I'm like losing my mind. I'm like, come away, it is almost clear dawn. And there was one performance, they weren't supposed to move at this point. There's a whole other thing where a character comes on and there's a whole thing. But there was one performance where I said, come away, it is almost clear dawn. And I start running and people get up and I'm like, no, stay.
You stay, I go. That's funny. Wow, that's amazing. How is it to perform with a live audience in front of you like that? Because like compared to like performing for a live audience, in a room, like how is that sensation like for you? It's
simultaneously terrifying and incredible. There's really nothing like it when you're delivering certain lines and you get to really look someone in the eye. It's amazing. I had last year, again, in Measure, I had these certain moments towards the end of the play that are really nasty. My character suddenly gets really, really nasty and misogynist and says some like really, really awful things about women. And I would always find one woman in the audience who was making this face like, are you for real? And I would deliver certain lines like directly to her with this like smug look of like, yeah. And there's something so powerful about that. What's really interesting is that it's funny. I talked to Abby Ellis, who also is a Theater in the Rough veteran, about certain attitudes that we have about acting that like don't exactly transfer well in other companies. She was saying how at some point, I hope it's okay that I'm saying this, Abby. At some point she was working on a show where she was looking directly at an audience member and she was directed to like, don't do that. We don't do that in black box theater. And I had that. I was at a workshop. When I was performing a song. And one of the notes that I got was, why is she looking in so many different directions? Why isn't she just looking at one point? I'm like, Theater in the Rough.
But that's really key. Like to be able to like be like reversible, being able to be fluid. Like this is a scenario, that's where you can be more engaged with the audience versus other cases where it's like more like you guys, I'll communicate the feeling, but it's more to a general and not to someone specific, which I think, which one is kind of like your favorite? Like, I know I shouldn't be asking it, but like, which do you seem to like more, like being able to like look at someone in the eye and be more direct, or kind of like general and like catch it if you can type of?
It's gonna be a cop out because I love both of them for different reasons. I wouldn't give up on either of them. I think like that's the key to the key is to, you know, have that balance of, okay, sometimes I want to, you know, sing a song and be all dramatic and out there, and sometimes I want to get up in your face and give you some Shakespeare. You know?
Yeah, incredible. So then I remember you did speakeasies for a period. I was not like necessarily involved yet, so I kind of heard about it later. Can you like elaborate about it a bit? What is it?
So speakeasies is my baby. Basically, I'd been involved in a whole bunch of cabaret performances in Tel Aviv. Rest in peace, the perfectly marvelous cabaret, which was a delight. And what was so much fun about the cabaret is that it gave an opportunity to sing songs that were, first of all, songs that a lot of people hadn't heard, a lot of like very clever story songs that were a little bit raunchy, a little bit filthy. And it's just a lot of fun. You know, it's this one evening of like very open and fluid, and then we go back to doing, you know, Fiddler on the Roof and things like that. And so,
yeah, you and Leanne once were like wearing very naive, sisterly clothing of Russia, and then afterwards risque cabaret in black.
Corsets and things, yeah.
Exactly.
So we really wanted to bring something like that to Jerusalem. And again, Theater in the Rough working in like unconventional spaces. We wanted to do a show in a bar. So basically the way it worked was I would put together a very meticulous set list. It would be very, very balanced in terms of like funny, dramatic, up-tempo ballad, boys, girls, group numbers. It was like very spreadsheets and stuff.
Uh-huh.
And the idea was, the way it worked was I would send out the music, and sometimes people would hate me because, again, these songs were like not very well known. Sometimes it would be like, here's this one YouTube video that's available of this song. Please learn it from this terrible quality video. And then we'd have like 3 or 4 rehearsals, put the whole thing together, and put it up. And it was just so much fun. We had great reception. It was just a lot of work putting it together. I am trying to do something similar, develop something similar. It's always a problem in terms of venues, in terms of piano players, but I'm working on sort of reviving that.
Just saying. But yeah, was not intentional at first, but yeah. But no, that's really cool. How did you find these materials, especially if you're saying that they're very unknown?
A lot of YouTube rabbit holes. We had this, oh my God, I have this massive spreadsheet that we created of like name of song, link, style, length, where is it from, which oftentimes was like a question mark. And, you know, and you go on.
That's what we usually do in the classical world, anonymous.
You know, you go on YouTube and you follow like 54 Below and Famous in New York and, you know, all of those cabaret channels, and you end up clicking through and finding all kinds of great songs.
Incredible. So one of like crowd favorite questions is what's like your favorite show or style of shows or characters? Like I know you got a chance to perform one of your dream roles in the past year. So if you want to kind of like share a bit about that experience as well, but kind of like favorites, you know.
Favorites in terms of
like what's your favorite style of a show or a favorite musical or play you have, favorite roles.
I mean, it's hard to narrow down a favorite style because I really do a wide range and I enjoy both of them. Like last year, I got to also play Amalia and also play the Duke in Measure for Measure, and they're 2 very different roles. Actually, the Duke is kind of a little bit George in a way. Funny story. I'm gonna like go off on a tangent. One of the things that I did last year, that I started doing last year to prepare, was I created Spotify playlists for my characters. And then and it sort of like got me into the zone, and I actually added She Loves Me to my Duke playlist, because the Duke, I mean, for whoever's not familiar, is this character who's like very twisted, and basically at the end of the play, the big like reveal is he proposes to a character that he showed no interest in for the majority of the play, and who clearly has no interest in her. And so I was listening to She Loves Me one day, and that line, she loves me, true, she doesn't show it, how could she when she doesn't know it? And I was like, ad.
That's incredible. So that's like actually a great advice for like, it's like an inspiration wall for a character.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I did something similar with Ilona, where I was like literally taking like 4 ladies and being like, that's my inspiration. Downton Abbey, Grace Kelly, I think I also had in Marilyn Monroe. Like I had like
amazing.
That type of like my what you call it. Exactly. So that it's like, and I started to do it very late. So it's cool to like also use music as like, you know, another way to like go into,
and it's a great way to get pumped before a performance. Like once you have that playlist, you're like, okay, I'm putting on my makeup and like listening to my inspo.
Well, I remember that we had our share of It Should Have Been You before before She Loves Me. It's a play. It's a musical that me and Avital very, very, very much like, and we're kind of competing for the
produce that.
Yes, please, and have Avital and me being sisters. But the question is, which sister? But yeah, I just love that musical, and I wasn't there for a long time. I
saw it 3 times.
I was about to say, it's not fair. It's not fair. But no, it's such a clever musical. So do you want to like tell people about it? So maybe that can, you know, help us bring it to.
I feel like if you tell people about it, then you like give away what makes it so special, which is kind of like the reason that I feel that it didn't succeed, because you can't give away the ending, but also it's terrible.
Yeah.
But you should really listen to the cast recording. It is phenomenal, and it's an all-star cast. And maybe find a bootleg on YouTube. I'm not condoning that.
What? I didn't hear that. What? Bootleg. What is it? Are you saying? So I'm just writing down the name of the musical for whoever wants to just, you know, write it quickly in Google and listen to the soundtrack. It's beautiful. It's just clever, beautiful. Don't give up on the first try. That's something I say to some people, because some people will be like, what's going on there? You need to like embrace it. I love it. I love that the characters are A, humane, and B, that everyone are complex, and that in what like you face, it's like, it's literally our reality today. Like a lot of stuff that are happening, you know, like prejudiced thoughts, business versus, you know, relationships, like personal image. I really connected to Jenny because of, you know, the issue. Like I need to compromise one aspect of myself, because not because I want to, but because I can't get it because of how I look, which I think it's like, I don't know. That's what I happen to like in the show. Like
it's a really special show, and it's like it's so heartfelt and funny. It's funny. Yes. It's so hard to find funny shows these days.
Well, falsettos. Did you see, by the way, that they have a live thing happening? I don't know.
Yes. But so I mean, we've seen it.
No, I know, but I'm saying, is there anytime enough falsettos? I'm just saying.
That is true. Oh, I just saw yesterday the Stars in the House with the original cast of Falsetto Land. Oh,
you came late to the party. That was beautiful. That was so much. That was beautiful. Yeah. Apparently, what's her name? Who played the lesbian girlfriend? She's
Cordelia.
She's a cousin of Howie.
Yeah. I knew that. I remember that was one of the first conversations I had with Howie, I think.
That's incredible. I was like, I love Howie, and Howie, like I know from a very young age before theater. But for me, it's like, oh my God, that is like another cool thing about him. But Howie is
one of those people that I met doing theater back in Tel Aviv and in Ranana, and then ended up working with him here. It's kind of funny. Howie and I end up paired together all the time.
Right. Well, I remember in Fiddler you were together.
So we were together in Forum, Well, first of all, we were together in Tact Theater when we were like the two Sondheim nerds in the review there, which was, yeah. And then in Forum, I was hero to his pseudolus. He was my slave. And then in Fiddler, we were Muckle and Seidel, obviously. And then in Cabaret, we were the Fräulein Kost and Herr Ludwig. I was like, how is this always happening?
You just work well on stage.
It's true.
You really do. Very cool. So kind of like, because we're in a very special period in our lives, as you know, I know that you, first of all, embarked, not pun intended, a new partner in your life. So is she there? Is Bobby there?
She's actually napping outside. I wanted to make sure she didn't
Not
interrupt
cool.
us.
Not cool. So do you want to share with us a bit on how Bobby became Bobby Baby, Bobby Booby?
Boo-boo.
Boo-boo.
Yeah. Well, I took her in initially as a foster, and then I ended up adopting her during Corona times.
Mm-hmm.
And it was obvious from the very beginning that she needed some sort of musical theater name. And there was a very interesting thread on Facebook with all kinds of ideas. And it came down to Bobby and Liza, actually. And it was actually Udi Knebel who suggested Bobby because, well, she came in this very like frightened, neurotic, sort of like closed off kind of dog, and we said, well, she needs somebody to crowd her with love and somebody to force her to care, so she should be Bobby. And I was like, yeah, that fits.
That's actually beautiful. Udi, you and Sondheim. No, but that's actually a really nice way to like say, that, I don't know. I actually liked it. Like, that sounds awesome. And you had like a very funny story with like how someone like didn't understand you were in company with, the name of the book. I thought it was like a funny story. I thought it would be fun to share it here.
It is pretty funny. Well, I was in company back in 2013
as Crazy Amy, who
as Amy,
I cannot.
Crazy Amy.
Amazing how you were able to do that. I can't. I broke my tooth just trying to do that.
Funny story. I actually, I was known to sort of speed up and not tell Alon I was going to do that. My bad. He's like, you did it again. But so I was talking to a friend on Facebook, and they said it rolled around to how old Bobby was, and she's not a spring chicken. She's probably about 7. We're not sure. And whenever I write about Bobby on social media, I write #BobbyBaby, because company. And so this friend said, "Oh, she's 7. I thought she was a puppy because you keep writing Bobby Baby." And I said, "Oh, actually, it's reference to a musical called Company, blah blah blah." And they said, "Oh, I think I saw that at the ACI like a million years ago." Like, about that.
Yeah, no, but you were fantastic in that show. How did you prepare for that show, especially with the lyrics? Like, I know that somehow you still remember them, but like,
not as well as I used to.
No, but like for me, the moment I finish the show, I'm like, Asta. Like, I just don't. My brain is like, it's like that. But how did you prepare for that role? It's like such an intense role.
It is very intense. There were 2 things that really helped. We worked from the acting perspective. We worked a lot in our couples, and Aviela really worked with us a lot on our backstory and how we worked together, and that was like really, really fascinating, breaking down Amy and Paul and creating this whole backstory for them. And I worked with the amazing Tom Carney, who was just a delight. And in terms of the music, Alon and I did some really intense work on the song. And I'll never forget, there's one rehearsal where he had me slow it down and sing it like a jazz song. And I was just like out of breath the whole time because there is no room to breathe and it's too slow. But sort of the like taking it apart and putting it back together was very helpful.
I'm actually really interested to hear how it sounds as a jazz song. Demo time?
No.
Fine. Please pressure me from the comments that she needs to send us a video of that. You and Udi can do that. I'm just saying for your cabaret show.
There you go.
But I have ideas. I'm just saying. But that's cool. So wait. So I know that one of your dream roles, as you mentioned in the past, especially in rehearsals, was Amalia. So do you want to like do you want to share a bit your experience and like how is it to like get a role that you dreamed for a long time, and how did you like work on that, or like being able to mark a check mark next to a dream role? I think it's insane.
Yeah, it's amazing. I when I was 15, I guess, I had a friend from LiveJournal. I'm showing my age. Who
doesn't say to me anything.
Exactly.
You still look younger than me. You still look younger than me.
We met through I think like a mutual love of the 2005 revival of Sweeney Todd. And she decided that I needed to know more musical theater because like my taste at the time was very limited. And this was before streaming and before like iTunes.
Before YouTube existed.
It was a wasteland. So she sent me a zip file of like a whole bunch of random songs from musical theater. And one of them was Vanilla Ice Cream. And I listened to it and I was like, oh my God, this is the best song in the world. I had no idea what was going on. I had no idea who Dear Friend was and why she was being so mean, and like no clue, but I was like, this is the best song in the world, and I'm going to listen to it forever on repeat. And I would say that this was at a time period where I would like, lock my bedroom door and just sing musical theater for like 4 hours at the top of my lungs and annoy everybody in my house. And Vanilla Ice Cream was one of those songs. It was only much later that I realized that this came from a show called She Loves Me, and that there were many other songs. But this song stuck with me from like age 14, 15. And it became like a song that would be part of my warm up whenever I would get ready for a show. And I just like felt this intense connection to it. So I actually, at the audition, it wasn't the song that I prepared, but then
what
I was
song did you prepare?
I did My White Knight from The Music Man. So it was like sort of the same range, and also like, I want a man who's well read.
That's incredible.
I don't know who he is, but he should be smart.
That's definitely Amalia, just in a different universe.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of parallels between Amalia and Marion Peru. And then I was asked if I could sing something from the show, and I'm like, well, I suppose I could. Yeah, but being able to sing that song on stage every night was just like, it was just an incredible feeling. There were these moments where I'm like, is this my life right now? Is this happening? Like, what, how? Yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Wow. And do you still have like roles that you aspire to do, like dream to do, or you kind of like checked most of them?
Don't we all?
Okay, so share with us a few, and I'll make sure that it's none of mine. Stop.
The Baker's Wife. Somebody produced that. Trina.
Yes.
Somebody produced that.
Well, you have still your own company. I'm just saying you.
I don't think it exists anymore. Mrs. Lovett. I mean, that'll be. I got time for that, but yeah,
you'll be great at Mrs. Lovett. Wow.
Those are three that yeah.
1 second. My computer, for some reason, is about to die. So please forgive me and entertain everyone else while I'm bringing my charger.
I'm just going to drink my tea.
You're not a well entertainer. Jeez. You could have might as well just do a tap dance or something by the time I came back.
How do you know I didn't?
Good point. Well, I know that no, from Singing in the Rain, the leading one, Gene Kelly and
Donald O'Connor.
Yes, he's like my favorite, and I always forget. I always call him McDonald. I don't know why, but he's one of my favorite actors. So both of them have like an amazing like tap routine when they're sitting on a chair.
Yeah,
mind blowing. I love tap, but unlike you, I don't know how to dance. So
you should learn. There are 2 teachers now teaching tap in Jerusalem. You can pick it up. Anybody can pick it up. One of them is Chaya Weintraub. And the other one, his name is Noam, and he works out of Studio Shish.
Cool. I'll definitely.
So after years and years and years where there was no tap in Jerusalem.
Well, I know that Gabby, there was Gabby who taught me a couple of years ago, which I did go and study with her. She was amazing. But I love tap. I'll adore tap. Me and feet don't coordinate.
What I always tell people is that, like, we're so used to, there's so many styles of dance that require you to be like very poised and very up here and very like perfectionist. And the joy of tap is that you know, you can get ugly and like get down and get low, and it only sounds better.
What do you mean by that sounding better?
Meaning if you're up here and you're tapping like very light, if you're tapping with like the poise of a ballerina, usually you're not going to get the right sounds out. You got to like bend your knees and get low to the floor for the most part. Yeah.
That's really cool. So what are other hidden talents of yours? You're a tapper, as I know. You're a pianist, evolving pianist. I was very impressed from the video that you shared. I'm just saying.
I can play chords. It's very exciting. Yeah. Yeah.
It is. I'm breaking down. Yeah. But so you're a pianist. You also knit, right?
I crochet.
You crochet. My bad. What's like your favorite thing to crochet? Like,
oh wow. It sort of changes.
Do you have anything that you crochet next to you?
No.
Fine.
I have a really old thing that I crocheted actually. I totally forgot that it's here. It's a blanket.
Oh wow.
It's a blanket with Oreos.
That's beautiful.
Thank you.
Oh my god. That's amazing. How long ago did you make it?
Oh god, I made it in high school.
Wow. Like, your talent is just pouring. Oh my god. That's amazing. How long are you crocheting I
think from like age 13 about, on and off.
Basically your artistic way and creativity started at the age of
I can't do math, but I can do a lot of other things.
You can do math because you're doing 1, 2, 3, 4.
I can count.
I
can't do math.
Some people cannot even count. So trust me, it's a talent. But like what and during the Corona period, like is there like other than the piano, which I know that's like a relatively a new thing, but are there other skills you kind of like said, I'm gonna now like tackle a new skill, or I'm gonna do something new?
Yeah, actually. I've been getting into songwriting, or like the lyric side of songwriting. Udi and I have been like coming up with some ideas, and like he's written some stuff and I've written some stuff, and he's been like, you know, adding music to, or he's written some stuff in Hebrew and I've been translating it into English, and just sort of like experimenting and playing with that and sort of coming up with ideas for future projects. But yeah, at some point I wrote some stuff and I was like, I don't know if I like this. And he was like, no, actually, this is really good.
Wow.
Okay, cool.
That's amazing. Have you like, do you actually have a song ready, or you're still kind of, I'm exactly there with you, Toby. And do you write in English or do you write in Hebrew?
I write in English. But like some of the work that we've been doing was things that he'd written in Hebrew and I had worked on the translation into English, cool. Which is a whole other skill set. Yeah.
To translate, definitely. Yeah. are you willing to share with us a bit? I know you're not feeling well, but at least like just a snippet.
Well, what we're hopefully going to eventually record at least a specific song that I've discussed with you properly in 2 languages. So I'm gonna wait till it's recorded. Yeah.
Okay. I didn't realize you're gonna do it in both languages. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so songwriter, musician, crocheter, yoga. Like I remember.
True.
So what else? I kind of like I don't know. I'm just like, what don't you do? I think is the question. What don't you do?
I don't do math. No.
You don't do that, or you don't do that.
I don't.
Sorry, that's such a bad joke, but I have to. That's me in math too. So yeah, but like, wow, that's amazing that you took such initiative, and also like you. Well, now you're also doing the upcoming Macbeth, not Macbeth, Henry IV. Why did I say Macbeth? I'm sorry. Please forgive me. I saw Macbeth many years ago, so that's why I think it's like stuck in my head. So how is that going, especially with everything that's happening?
Yeah, it's very different. First of all, the fact that we're starting a lot later than we're used to, and when we had our first read through, rather than everybody sitting around the table and it being very intimate, we sort of sat everybody in their own little space with their alcohol and their mask. And like, when it gets to be your part, you can take your mask off, but when it's not your part, please put your mask back on. It's very weird.
Down.
Yeah. Very weird, like finding this new normal. But on the other hand, this is something that like everybody I've spoken to about this in the cast has said like they're just so grateful to be able to do theater. Even if like disclaimer, I mean, everybody's hoping that, the show will go on and everything will be fine. It's still sort of weird being in rehearsal and not being 100% sure that you're going to be able to go through with it. But like, fingers crossed.
Oh, there is a chance you won't be able to do it?
I mean, hanchayot or hanchayot. Right now, yes, but,
Yeah, you never know. Well, I really hope that it will happen because I'm really looking forward for it. May I ask what's your role in the show?
I am playing Lady Percy, or as I call her, Lady Hotspur. I'm married to Rebecca Sykes. And
you paired well.
And the hostess. I play the 2 women in the show. It's very exciting.
Very cool. Do you want to, like, for whoever does not know the show, what is it about, or like anything that you could share about like what you guys are interested to do with the show in a way?
Kings and power and passion and upheaval and all that good stuff. And revolution.
Yeah. Well, I remember Measure and Measure last year. Like, I don't know if you'll be able to do it, but like, I really love the discussions that you created with that because it was such a very hard topic show. Yeah. Are you going to do like, what necessarily are the topics you think that lead that like specific play of Shakespeare? Like, what are like the conflict or the topic, like the main theme of the show? I personally do not know the show. That's why I'm asking.
I'm going to be honest with you because I've been sick. I've been at 1 rehearsal, so I don't feel like I don't want to speak for anybody at this point.
No, for sure. Cool. Well, I'm really looking forward to see that show, and hopefully you guys will come as well, and hopefully everything will be well, and everyone will be well, and you will regain your voice again. And yeah. Well, if anyone wants to ask a question relatively quickly, if not, I'm just gonna sign off and say thank you so much, Avital.
Thank you. Are you gonna share the thing that I sent you?
Yeah, I just don't know how am I doing it here. Oh, I'll just share the YouTube link, or do you want me to try and show it here? I don't know if I can show it.
No, don't show it. That's fine. Everybody can like go in at their own time. But
okay, so I'm posting here an awesome video. Do you want to share a bit what it is?
So back in December, Shlomit and I went into a recording studio and recorded about a quarter of the New Jerusalem cast recording of She Loves Me. We recorded 5 songs, And it took a while for them to get mixed properly and edited properly, but now we're slowly shade. But we are finally beginning to release them slowly. So what Shlomit is sharing now is the link to Vanilla Ice Cream,
which is so exciting, and I enjoyed listening to it. I also enjoyed listening to it live and hearing you eating and seeing you eating mashed potatoes. Oh, sorry, vanilla ice cream on stage. I love like the drama that happened backstage. Where's the mashed potatoes? Where are the mashed potatoes? We don't have enough. Don't drop it on the floor.
No, it was never we don't have enough. It was did you set the mashed potato? Where are the mashed potatoes? There was always enough.
Oh, I just always remember there was like, where are they? Like, I always like where is my shoe? So where is my mash?
They were always in the same place.
and yet they never made it.
And that's all I'm going to say about that.
That's all we're going to say now. And I will not pretend to remember how I did Ilona, but I just love talking with you, Avital, and I'm so grateful that you joined. And I'm really grateful that you joined
for having me.
For sure. And thank you everyone who tuned in. And please listen to Vanilla Ice Cream, and later on you will get other scoops from the recording session. So I know there's someone in our cast who will be very excited about it. I'm not going to say her name, but she is like, what is it?
Or what she looks like.
Okay, for you, Avital. I wish I had her hair. But yeah. So next week we have an amazing panel of people coming on live. We have my friend Danielle Bojo. She and her friend Ali wrote a musical together, and she's slowly gonna like talk about like her experience in starting in the musical world, because she actually started in classical singing and rock singing. And I know her from the academy, so that's pretty cool to hear her journey in that world. And we have Rachel Green, who did with me First Date many years ago, speaking to us from the States. We have Jeff Fantel, I think that's how you say his family name. Please forgive me if I said it incorrectly, on Monday. And Yardena and Mordechai are joining us on Thursday, which I'm also very excited about. And I do not recall who we have on Tuesday. Please forgive me. But I hope everyone will tune in, and we'll hopefully see all of you soon. Stay well, stay healthy, and be creative. Good night.
Night.